Welcome to Best Math and Science videos, factoring trinomials of the form x squared plus bx plus c. A trinomial is an expression of the form ax squared plus bx plus c. This video is about how to factor trinomials in which the leading coefficient a equals 1, so the expression has the form x squared plus bx plus c. Here's an example. How can you factor the expression x squared plus 5x plus 6? Factoring means writing the expression in the form x plus a times x plus b. But what are the numbers a and b? The sum of these numbers must equal the coefficient of x, in this case 5. The product of the numbers must equal the constant, in this case 6. To find out what the numbers a and b are, start by making a list of numbers that can be multiplied to get the constant term 6. It can be two positive numbers or two negative numbers. 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Which of these pairs can you add to get 5? 2 plus 3 equals 5, so they are the numbers you are looking for. The factored form of the trinomial is x plus 2 times x plus 3, and that's your answer. Let's recap what we've done so far. We're factoring trinomials in which the leading coefficient is 1. Step 1 is to identify the constant of the trinomial. Step 2 is to find two integers that multiply to give that number. Step 3 is to identify the pair that has a sum equal to the coefficient of x in the trinomial. And step 4 is to use that pair to write the factors of the trinomial. Let's apply these 4 steps to solve another problem. How can you factor x squared plus 4x minus 45? Remember to start by identifying the constant of the trinomial, in this case, negative 45. Next, find integers that multiply to give negative 45. To get 45, the pairs are 1 and 45, 3 and 15, 5 and 9. But since the product must be negative 45, one of the integers must be negative. Remember that the factored form of the trinomial is x plus a times x plus b. And you need to find the numbers a and b where a plus b is equal to 4 and a times b is equal to negative 45. So the next step is to identify the correct numbers. If you look at each of the possible pairs, you see that adding negative 5 and positive 9 gives 4, so this is the pair you want. The final step is to substitute these numbers into the expression. So the factored form of the trinomial is x minus 5 times x plus 9. And this is your answer. Here's another example. What are the factors of x squared minus 4x minus 12? Notice that both signs in this trinomial are negative, but it's solved the same way. The sum of two numbers a and b must be negative 4, and the product of the numbers must be negative 12. Make a list of integers you can multiply to get negative 12. To get 12, you can multiply 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. And since the product must be negative 12, one of the integers must be negative. If you check the pairs, you will see that only plus 2 and minus 6 gives negative 4. So these are the numbers you are looking for. The factored form of the trinomial is x plus 2 times x minus 6. And that's your answer. If you multiplied these, you would get the original trinomial. Here's another example. What are the factors of x squared minus 15x plus 56? In this trinomial, the sum of two numbers a and b must be negative 15, and the product of the numbers must be positive 56. So make a list of integers you can multiply to get 56. Since 56 is positive, we're looking for 2 positive numbers or 2 negative numbers. 1 and 56, 2 and 28, 4 and 14, 7 and 8. Let's stop a second and look at the signs in the trinomial again. You want two numbers that add to give a negative number and multiply to give a positive number. The only way that can happen is if both numbers are negative. So look again at the possible integer pairs. If both are negative, which can you add to get negative 15? You've got it. Negative 7 and negative 8 have a sum of negative 15, so they must be your integers. The factored form of the trinomial is x minus 7 times x minus 8. And that's your answer. Let's now look at some things you need to watch out for. You might have a trinomial in which the leading coefficient is negative, as shown here. It's a good idea to start by factoring negative 1 out of the trinomial. Remember to switch all of the signs when you do. Then factor the rest as you have learned in this video. You could instead wait until the end to factor out the negative 1, but don't forget. Another thing to watch out for is a common factor in the trinomial. For example, look at the trinomial 3x squared plus 24x plus 48. Notice that each term can be divided evenly by 3, so factor out the 3 and then factor the remaining trinomial as before. You might also see a trinomial with a different order of terms. Before you factor, always reorder with the x squared term first, then the x term, and finally the constant. Then factor as usual. Finally, you may need to use other ways of factoring. Some expressions may look like you can factor them, but you will find that using the methods in this video won't work. Check out our other videos to see how to solve these problems. In this video, you've seen how to factor a trinomial when the leading coefficient is 1. To learn more about factoring, watch these related videos. Factoring trinomials when the leading coefficient is not 1. Factoring by grouping, or using the distributive property, or perfect square trinomials. Links to these videos are in the description below, and be sure to click below to subscribe to Best Math and Science videos. Thanks for watching. See you next time.